international bodies, accrediting these CABs to international standards that will provide the confidence in the goods and services supplied by our manufacturers and exporters. And this is critical because we are signatory to the WTO TBT requirements arrangements. JANAAC works closely with our regional partner CROSQ to deliver training and accreditation services to the region. And we are happy that the support CROSQ gives to a number of the CABs allow us to get some business in the region. So JANAAC at 7. 7 is certainly the perfect number. And so we are perfectly set to launch into a new area of business. We have over the last couple of years grown the organization, and we have built a platform that allows us now to take off into new directions, to diversify our services. So we have increased our staff complement. We have, in the last 6 months, with the increase in the staff complement, recorded a significant increase in the number of assessments that are done. Let me just give you one quick example. In 2013-2014, we had 8 assessments. But in the last half of 2014-2015, we conducted just over 21 assessments. I have listed some of the countries that we're already supporting, and we intend to deepen our reach into the Caribbean region. Next. We've revised our mission as of October 2014, and really it's just focusing our attention on the key areas of business, the fact that we're supporting trade, that we're building consumer confidence, and we're enhancing competitiveness. Our vision is to be a leading provider of internationally recognized accreditation services that improve consumer confidence, facilitate market access, and economic growth.
For me, really, the importance of accreditation came home to me very starkly, and in a way that I'm going to remind most of you, because it was during the O.J. Simpson trial. I know a lot of persons believe he was acquitted because if the glove didn't fit, you must acquit. And no such thing occurred. On the evidence, what happened was much of the evidence that was tested at a laboratory that was not accredited. And for me, when that came home to me, I recognized that so much of what we've been doing and continue to do isn't going to take us too far. Because if we want to access global trade and the global marketplace, you must build in standards generally, and you must have accredited laboratories. And so I came to the ministry, having represented Jamaica at the World Trade Organization and the Caribbean, and recognizing that you have things like technical barriers to trade, that if you don't address, you really just import, you're just producing for a small, tiny local market. And for that, we cannot compete. And so, I say this morning that JANAAC at 7 is growing up. I'm therefore pleased to announce the launch of the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation Ambassadors Programme. These ambassadors are prominent Jamaican and Caribbean nationals from the business, trade, sport, and scientific communities that are able to garner support for quality, which will highlight priority issues, full attention to active supporting accreditation in general, and JANAAC in particular. To each of these ambassadors, I commend you for donating your time and effort to engage in public advocacy and in public awareness activities. I look forward to seeing your sensitization campaign and to learn more of your progress in bringing awareness to accreditation and its ability to improve global trade and to provide confidence in all sectors.
Accreditation, this is not the formal definition of the ISO IEC standard, but I think it is a definition that is easily understood, which is a formal, accreditation is a formal recognition of the competence and impartiality of conformity assessment bodies. By competence, we're talking about the fact that we are assessing and attesting to the fact that the conformity assessment bodies know what they're doing and have the capability of actually carrying out those tasks when the accreditation body is not around. The accreditation body goes in and does an assessment and then leaves. So they have to have processes in place that can give confidence that they will keep on doing their tasks correctly. So accreditation is carried out by an independent assessment based on requirements established in international standards. Those are the standards that apply to the accreditation body and to the laboratory or the certification or inspection body. So the benefits of accreditation, which is something that we have talked about several times, but again, there are different ways of presenting the information, so I hope this sort of makes sense for you. We have three main groups that I think can particularly benefit from accreditation. First of all, governments and regulators. Accreditation facilitates trade and growth. That is the way that, as I mentioned previously, accreditation is always and typically promoted as being good for international trade because a product or a service, but mostly a product can be tested and or certified once and accepted everywhere. That, however, is still a dream and a goal that we're always working for, but it's certainly the main purpose of accreditation. I think governments can also benefit by using accreditation as a way of developing legislation and national regulations in health, safety, and the environment. And by that I mean that the regulation makes requirements, but the enforcement process is sometimes the actual key to make sure that those regulations are not just words on paper. And governments can rely on accreditation bodies to make sure that the organizations that have to be implementing those regulations are actually doing their job and doing it competently. So it is a tool to alleviate the burdens on governments. All governments have limited resources and more every day. So relying on these third-party activities can be very beneficial to governments. So that's also part of the surveillance tool that accreditation bodies can provide. And strengthening generally the technical and scientific activities in a country. For businesses, accreditation can offer great acceptance of the products and services, opening access to new markets. The organizations that are accredited always find that the effort of getting accredited is considerable. It's not easy to get accredited, really not easy for anybody. But once you are accredited, you find a lot of benefits in terms of efficiencies, but also it differentiates your services from those of other competitors in the market, and it really can open markets both domestically and internationally.
I would like to really commend the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAAC, for hosting this year's World Accreditation Day breakfast and business meeting. This esteemed gathering of stakeholders to recognize the importance that accreditation plays in supporting the delivery of health and social care signals the quest to ensure a robust health sector that can provide quality and competent services to patients, regulators, and other users of the sector. And this is quite commendable, comforting, caring, and reassuring. Upon reflection of this year's World Accreditation Day's theme, accreditation supporting the delivery of health and social care, it is worthy to be reminded that accreditation independently confirms competence of health and social care providers to provide quality services. For example, accredited health labs are ensured of producing internationally comparable, reliable, and equivalent measurement results. Accredited inspection bodies can be assured of providing social care that drives up standards, having themselves been independently audited to verify compliance to international standards in their trade. And accredited certification bodies certifying healthcare providers are ensured of providing such services at ever-improving global levels of assurance. Apart, therefore, from really appreciating the promotion of accreditation in trade, health, and social care today by JANAAC, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank them for two other major initiatives. One being the launch of their Accreditation Ambassador Programme, inviting CROSQ to be part of it, and the other being the work that they're doing with CROSQ in building accreditation in the region, and most recently accrediting the Guyana Rice Development Board Central Lab, and which represents a first of many kinds. Through the accreditation of this Rice Development Central Laboratory in Guyana, one of the first that came out of that is that this is the first accreditation performed by JANAAC outside of Jamaica. It's the first accreditation under the Caribbean Cooperation for Accreditation Scheme that was designed and developed by CROSQ to promote regional accreditation of laboratories, inspection, and certification bodies. Thank you. And it's the first accredited lab in Guyana.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here this morning to celebrate with you World Accreditation Day. But most importantly, it's the reception of this certificate. I am proud. The GRDB, which is the Guyana Rice Development Board, Central Laboratory is mandated to grade and certify paddy rice and rice byproducts intended for export. And the management of GRDB has seen the need for accreditation of its laboratory. We were pursuing accreditation for some years now. With vast turnover of staff, it was put on hold. CROSQ was introduced to management through the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, and we have since worked our way because we were mandated with the task to gain accreditation. Upon doing so, CROSQ had taken us on board, and we're thankful to CROSQ today. They assisted us We have gotten support from CROSQ in the form of a consultant also. When we worked with her, she's Miss Shivana Mohaber Lee. And we worked with her, and today I'm sorry she's not here to celebrate with me, but I guess we will be having a celebration back home on the 25th of June. I hope she'll be there to celebrate with us the accomplishment of the accreditation of the Central Laboratory of Guyana.
So what is the LQMS-SIP really? Now, it as a overall, and sort of like the overall framework or the overview, is that the LQMS-SIP is really a framework to support Caribbean countries in their efforts to strengthen national laboratory services through a stepwise quality improvement process. Now, why is it important to say stepwise? We know, and you are accustomed working with laboratories, when you present a standard or you say to a laboratory, you want to work towards receiving your accreditation. That's an easy statement to say, okay? You're going to work towards your accreditation. But you know, when you look at the standard and you look at all of the requirements, many people who work in laboratories every day would say, that's too much. That's a lot of stuff that we have to do. How are we going to get through that? So, in the LQMS-SIP, what we are saying is that the LQMS-SIP helps laboratories in a stepwise fashion to go towards your accreditation. And these steps, we call these steps tiers. So like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So you're working towards your accreditation in 3 steps. Because in this way, if you are helping a laboratory and they're working towards their accreditation, when you achieve a certain amount, you can help the staff, and the staff can say, okay, we have achieved this amount. Now we have to work again to achieve the second set, and then by the time we achieve the third set or the third tier, we would now have completed all of the requirements for going towards the ISO 15189.